Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. We're diving straight into what it actually takes to defend the modern corporate castle. Because look, you can have the highest walls, the deepest digital moats, and literally the most advanced tech in the world. But if your internal policies are weak, or your guards just aren't trained, yeah, your data is already compromised. Let's get into how strict guidelines and, really, rigorous penetration testing form the true bedrock of your security posture.
So I want you to think about this for a second. Is a lock really secure if you never actually test it? You can build the thickest walls, buy the most expensive deadbolts on the market, but if you're not checking to see if someone can just pick that lock, you're operating on blind faith. And honestly, blind faith in cybersecurity, that usually results in millions of dollars in damages. Having static defenses in place is pretty much useless without active, rigorous stress testing. We have to know exactly where the cracks are before the bad actors find them.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our life cycle approach to upgrading our fortress today. We'll start with building the security foundation, take you inside penetration testing, show you how to train your human firewall, tackle overcoming security challenges, and then wrap up with the future of cyber defense.
All right, part one, building the security foundation. Because, well, every strong castle needs an airtight blueprint before you lay a single stone.
You know, people so often dismiss security policies as just bureaucratic red tape, but no, they are your architectural blueprints. You absolutely need these 4 non-negotiable pillars: a framework that provides actual structure, legal compliance to help you navigate those incredibly complex regulations, risk management to actively hunt down vulnerabilities, and crucially, an atmosphere of awareness and accountability. These aren't just annoying HR rules, right? They are the literal structural supports of your entire risk strategy.
But here's the thing. Building these policies isn't a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. It's a living life cycle. You've got to involve stakeholders right from the ground up, so the rules are actually practical. You must update them constantly as the business pivots, communicate them clearly so there's zero ambiguity, and most importantly, enforce them. Without enforcement and clear repercussions, even the best policies are just suggestions.
Which perfectly brings us to part 2, inside penetration testing. This is where we shift from playing passive defense to active offense.
Now, we all know what penetration testing is. You're basically hiring ethical mock assassins to batter your own walls. But its real value isn't just in finding some obscure zero-day exploit. No, it's in the deep, actionable insights that actually enhance your response protocols. It proves to your stakeholders that, yes, your defenses do hold up under fire.
In these mock assassins operate on a spectrum of visibility. Black box testing gives you that terrifying, completely blind perspective of an outside hacker, while white box offers a deep dive internal audit. But the real sweet spot today, that's often gray box testing. By giving testers just partial knowledge, you perfectly simulate one of today's biggest, scariest threats, the insider attack or the compromised employee credential. Oh, and this isn't some chaotic free-for-all. The testers rely on established methodologies, like OWASP for web vulnerabilities, or the NIST and PTS frameworks. These acronyms ensure the attacks aren't just random hacking attempts, but thorough, measurable stress tests that align with the absolute highest standards in the industry.
Now, let's pivot to the most unpredictable element of any defense. Part 3, training your human firewall. Because a fortress is only ever as good as the guards manning the walls.
Way too often, security training just means forcing employees to mindlessly click through a boring compliance module once a year. Yeah, that doesn't work. To build a true human firewall, training has to be this dynamic, highly communicative environment. It requires active engagement and real psychological buy-in from your team, not just passive listening.
So, a truly effective program blends the theory with visceral, practical scenarios. We're talking hands-on labs where learners can safely detonate simulated threats. It's kind of like a giant puzzle they get to solve. It also requires a culture of continuous education, pushing IT staff toward ongoing ethical hacking certifications. And crucially, you have to measure success through analytics and feedback. You need to prove the ROI to leadership while making sure your team is genuinely equipped to catch human error before it goes, well, critical.
But hey, no defense is perfect. Let's move to part 4, overcoming security challenges, and take a look at the real-world cracks in the wall. When you're conducting these tests, you are definitely going to hit some hurdles. First up is scope creep. If you don't define those boundaries early on, tests can accidentally take down your critical systems. Yikes! Second is resource allocation. Budgets are tight, which means you have to strategically use automated tools to do the heavy lifting. But the biggest hurdle of all? Reporting. Handing a 50-page technical log to a non-technical board is practically useless. You've got to translate those vulnerabilities into clear, bottom-line business risks so leadership knows exactly where to spend their remediation budget.
And hanging over all these logistics is just a brutal reality. Cyber threats mutate like a virus. They literally adapt and change shape every single day. Your pen testers and your policies must relentlessly evolve right alongside them. You absolutely cannot fight tomorrow's polymorphic malware with yesterday's compliance checklist. It just won't work.
Which brings us to our final phase, Part 5, the future of cyber defense. How exactly do we upgrade the castle for what's coming?
Staying ahead of the curve means embracing next-gen tools. We aren't just talking about basic firewalls anymore. We're talking about integrating AI and machine learning for predictive threat hunting and automated responses. A real game changer. It requires deep collaboration and sharing threat intelligence across your entire industry. It means fostering this grassroots cyber hygiene so every single employee is an active sensor. And, for sure, it demands complete agility to pivot as data privacy regulations constantly shift.
So what are your actionable next steps here? Well, it starts at the top. You need to secure absolute commitment from leadership to actually enforce policy. Maintain rigorous, regular training schedules, no exceptions. Commit to a loop of continuous improvement so you can adapt to those mutating threats. And finally, measure everything. Use analytics to continually refine your strategy. It's this active, relentless participation that's going to keep the fortress standing.
To wrap up, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Threats are evolving every single day. So, are your policies evolving with them? A static defense is a defeated defense. It is entirely up to you to continuously test the locks, empower your human firewall, and adapt to the digital battlefield. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious, stay secure, and keep learning.